I've just had a message from Paul the Biscuit.
Right.
He's been shunted whilst at traffic lights.
Oh no.
Yeah, his car's not badly damaged, and he's just got a slight neck injury, nothing serious. And he hopes to be joining us later, possibly part 2. But he hopes to be joining us. He's just a bit peed off.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good group not to be in at the moment. This.
Yeah.
On your bike. Anyway, John, while you've got the floor, have you got?
Yes.
There were 2 or 3 people you got in touch with last week. Have you got any updates for us?
And I was talking to Brian the Thai, who's in good form. He's doing well. A lot better than his cricket team, and I don't mean Yorkshire or Derbyshire. I mean, Whitwell. That's it. Whitwell is who he plays for.
Yeah.
And they had a really good run start to the season. Won about the first 3 or 4. Now they've lost 5 in a row. But he's enjoying being able to get out and watch his cricket. He usually goes out for a walk with his mate. He's been going out for his walk for his mate Pete for years. But his wife's broken her arm, so Brian's at a loose end on a Wednesdays, but can't persuade him to come down to Bayton. So Brian's okay. Eric gave me a ring, and he's not so bad. He's still reluctant to come out and join us in anything, but he's doing okay. Yes, a little bit of news yesterday. I was at Crystal Peaks, and I met one of my heroes, was Jimmy McCalliog, who was signing his autobiography, and it wasn't written in crayon like Tony Curry's. No. Obviously, that's the wrong way around. That's the flyer for it. But that's his book. Wembley wins, Wembley wars. Obviously, he lost at Wembley with Wednesday in '66. Unless you watch Glyn Maguire's DVD of that event, in which he wipes out Everton's 3 goals and Wednesday win 2-0. So it's a fine DVD. I can recommend it. But then, of course, he won the FA Cup with Southampton when he made the winning goal for Bobby Stokes against Manchester United in '76. And he also scored the winning goal against England for Scotland in 1967, thus making Scotland the world champions. Yeah. I told him I'd
That's what they claimed anyway.
Pardon?
That's what they claimed.
That's what they claimed, yeah. And just another aside, the magazine we've mentioned for a while, that Keith Thermager's brother, John Thermager, has a lot to do with it. It's My Kind of Town. It's miscellany. It's been going for some years, about all sorts of stuff about Sheffield and the area over the centuries. And in this month's episode,
Tony Curry,
1 TC, 2 TCs. Now, which was the better TC? I think we'll all agree it was the red and white stripe TC.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
without a doubt. Yeah, although Terry Curran did play for United briefly, but not very well. From what I've read, he only ever had 1 good game, and that was away at Stoke, which don't to qualify anybody as being a great player. But Tony Curry was a great player. No more news from me, except tomorrow at Lifestyle Bayton, Jimmy McCalliog will be visiting Bayton, the Lifestyle Centre, at the time that we will be there. So I'm sure he'll pop in and have a word with us. So if anybody's interested or in the area, you're welcome to come to Lifestyle Centre at Bayton on the High Street and meet Jimmy McCalliog tomorrow morning, probably roughly about 10:30 to 12.
Well, you got Lifestyle, John. I won't be there tomorrow or next Wednesday.
What are you up to? You're not working again, mate, are you? Yeah.
No, I'm on holiday next week.
Oh, well deserved. Well deserved. Good man. That's a lot from me, Ian.
Okay, John. Well, you mentioned a couple of names there that the number here won't recall, and of course, I think you also spoke to Vinny, didn't you, last week at some stage?
I did indeed, Vinny. Yeah, Vinny spoke to me and said he plays golf on Wednesday, so he can't visit the Lifestyle Centre. I think he's up to something on Tuesdays. He's not particularly IT minded, but then certainly I'm not either. So he's missing seeing members of the group. For those who don't know Vinny the Badge, he's a all-purpose wonder man. His dad was a boxer in boxing booths. Vinny's played football at a high level, plays golf just about every day, and he's an amazing man. I was once in a pub with him and a couple of other lads from Sporting Memories, and for about an hour and 3/4 of the 2 hours there, he regaled us with tales that just had us rolling about, laughing at the table and on the floor. He's an amazing bloke. Vinny Lax, you may know the name. Nothing lax about Vinny though. But while I remember, and I'm still rambling on, I was at the cafe at the side of the library, Crystal Peaks Library yesterday, and I bumped into Tricia and 3 of the other library girls, and it's the first day they'd opened properly, and they were letting people in and wandering about and actually getting books. But so they don't know when they'll let us back in the library. But Tricia herself has had COVID during this last few months and a detached retina, which is fortunately reattached. So she's been under the weather. Yeah, as you said, Pete, it's not a good idea to be associated with this group, is it?
Saying that, John, I hope one day, perhaps nearer Christmas, when there's a steady state, when you've got the physical meetings up and running again, we can do a Zoom, because I'm sure Chris and Jonathan and Guy, Keith, and who come on the Zoom would love to meet the likes of Vinny and
Brian.
Indeed,
Good idea.
These guys are real characters. Brian the Thai, very quiet, introspective.
Gentleman, isn't he?
Even wears a tie in the bath.
A gentleman. Then you got Then you got Vinny, who's a family of, is it 7, John? And they're wonderful family. His dad was a boxer, one of these sort of, I suppose you call them prize fighters. He used to do Sunday boxing, and any money he won, he treat on the kids. And it was the stories he tells are fabulous. There are 1 or 2, excuse me, selling the website, but there are 1 or 2 of Glenn's podcasts on the website that tells Vinny's sporting memories. Fabulous people that they sit in the meeting at Crystal Peaks. Don't say very much, but when they do, they're absolute pearls, aren't they, John?
Some amazing stories, some terrific stuff. I'm sure that's true of everyone here. I mean, although in effect we're 2 separate groups with some crossovers, we're the same sort of people with the same sort of background and stories, and it'd be great to get together, if only Zoom and live, crossing over on the same day.
There's one from the Manor Top group, a chap called Chris White, one of the youngsters. He was at the McCalliog signing yesterday, because he Facebooked, he put a post on Facebook, and when you sent your photograph back to me, I thought there were 2 different eras. I thought that guy McCalliog's kept his age well, but I didn't realize it was the same event. Okay, if there's nothing more, let's go on to the streamlined Dave the Beard for Sports of the Week, News of the Week.
News of the week. I thought that was a new bloke.
And only one sport, as Keith said in his email, you can start with this week, and that's tennis. Some strange results there and in other sports, but we'll cover those later. Of course, the start of the week, Emma Raducanu beating Canada's Leylah Fernandez 6-4, 6-3 to become the new US Open Women's Champion and setting a few records. She's the first Briton, man or woman, to win a Grand Slam without dropping a set in the Open era. Playing 10 matches, she won 20 sets, with none going to a tie-break as well. So incredible record. She also became not only the first qualifier in the Open era to reach a Grand Slam final, but to win it. Raducanu becomes the 4th British woman to win a Grand Slam final in the Open era, and the first since 1977. Of course, that was Virginia Wade. Who were the other 3? Sorry, other 2 with Virginia Wade.
Jones and Sue Barker.
Yeah.
And Jones and Sue Barker.
Correct, yeah.
And Hayden Jones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely precise, yes. Nice little earner for Emma, 1.8 million, but that's going to be dwarfed by all the endorsements. We're talking about 100 times more in endorsements. So
Really?
She bought
very
the first
nice.
thing she bought with the money was a new set of earphones for her iPod. She'd lost them.
Fernandez, she won just a measly £900,000. But there you go. And she certainly had the tougher ride to the final, beating two ex-champions of Sarker and Kerber, and also the world number 2 and 5 on the way to the final. But there was also more British success at Flushing Meadows, because Joe Salisbury, along with his American partner, Rajiv Ram, beating Jamie Murray and his partner, Bruno Suarez, by 2-1 in the men's double final. This was the pair's second Grand Slam title, while denying Murray an 8th, which would have been a record if Jamie Murray had won that. In the men's final, here where we start with the shocks, Novak Djokovic losing to the world number 2, Medvedev, in 2 straight sets, or however you pronounce it. Thank you. 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. A win for Djokovic would have given him a total of 21 Grand Slam wins, and that would have put him in the lead above Federer and Nadal.
And we don't want that, do we?
No. They're just figures.
He would have also been the holder of all 4 Grand Slam titles in the calendar year. Who was the last person to hold them all 4 in the calendar year?
Laver.
Rod Laver, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. You're catching me out. I can't catch you out. Try again. There's more success for Joe Salisbury because he also won the mixed doubles title with his partner Desiree.
Can we go back to Djokovic?
Please do. Please do.
That performance where he smashed his racket up.
Oh.
That was football. Red card off.
Yeah.
Why did they get away with it?
Yeah.
Did he get a faulted point for that? I missed it live.
Not sure.
Yeah, I did. I don't know whether he should have done.
He should have
It's just extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Typical, though.
Yeah,
I just can't
he
check
should
to
be
him.
penalised for racket abuse.
It's the yin and yang of tennis. You've got a young girl of 18 there who's got a brain of 30. I mean, Paul, you must see, Paul the Biscuit, you must see in the schools, the maturity at that age now is increased immensely. I don't think at 18 I would have, well, I don't think I could speak coherently, let alone perform in front of the camera like that young lady.
Yeah.
Then you get this Polonka who loses rag and just smashes an expensive piece of equipment. Sorry, I'm having a rant. Carry on.
You're right, absolutely right. Though.
Yeah.
He was upset. He was upset.
Upset.
Yeah.
Harvey Elliott, I'm upset, but I don't go and smash the dogs up, do I?
But then again, Ian, you go back to World War II. What were 18 and 19-year-old lads doing then?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they would, with respect, John, and I don't demean them, but I think, as I did at Cranwell, you did as you're told.
Yeah.
You followed a norm. You seldom deviate, and God forbid if you did, you were in trouble. But here's a young lady who's just got it, and I'd like to think I had something at 18, but it's not the charisma and the personality and the ability.
It was terrific.
She's just fundamentally magnificent. I think I've got the hots for her.
Yes, I was going to say.
Naughty.
He's not fair either because she's got the looks to go with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Temperament, looks, ability. Yeah.
And she can play tennis.
I looked at her
Did
in
anyone,
that short skirt and thought, By God, she must be cold.
Chris, you're trying to get in.
No, I thought the two young ladies played magnificent tennis, but I did lose a little bit of my tennis respect for Fernandez over the incident where the girl
Injury,
clearly injured herself and was bleeding. She's an automatic medical timeout, and she spent the timeout arguing.
Yeah. Mardy
And
arse.
really should have-
Mardy arse is the phrase.
Mardy asked, and she should have composed herself and maybe at that point gone on to pressurise her opponent and win.
Yeah.
But I did find her.
You
Well,
can
I
understand her
found
being
her
upset
attitude really
briefly,
strange.
but she went on and on and on and on.
Yeah, did you get the commentary though, which I thought was hugely significant? The commentary that I was listening to anyway made the point that Fernandez made sure that the argument she was having was within earshot of her opponent.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's what it's all about.
Compare and
apologise.
contrast the behaviour of those two and the behaviour of Verstappen walking away from Hamilton when he was still stuck in his car. Sorry, I'm stealing the thunder, Dave, but
With a tire mark on his forehead.
Yes.
right. We've interrupted Dave too long. Come on, mate. Let's
That's
get on
what
with it.
it's all about.
As I say, Salisbury won with his partner in the mixed doubles. So the next question: who was the last man to win in the men's and mixed doubles tennis?
John Lloyd.
John Lloyd, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Was it?
John Lloyd, not John Lloyd.
Dave?
Jimmy Murray.
It's 2010.
Rosetsky.
Mike Bryan.
Oh,
Oh,
Of course.
Sorry, Bob Bryan. I'll just give you
his brother.
Bob Bryan. It was the two brothers.
Never gets the credit he deserves.
I've looked at the wrong name.
Is
But
this a
who
ball?
was his partner in the mixed doubles? Anybody?
Mike Bryan.
Navratilova.
Dora Bryan.
Liesl Huber. Liesl Huber.
Oh,
Liesl Huber.
yeah, the stand name back there.
Yeah,
South African born that lived in the States, apparently.
right. There you go. There you
And of
go.
course, as you said, Mike Bryan was Bob Bryan's doubles partner. As Jonathan's leaving us, just a little bit out of the football, I've got in the championship a 2-0 win for Coventry over Middlesbrough.
And a very fine one too.
So they're climbing to the playoff spots.
Absolutely.
And with the help of another ex-Sheffield United goalkeeper, Simon Moore.
And he's been a terrific signing, I can tell you. We're all very excited about him. He hasn't put a foot wrong yet. He made a triple save on Saturday, which was terrific. Threw himself across the goal for the first one. Second one, he smothered. The third one tipped over the top. No, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, just taking you back a little bit, Jonathan. I was talking to an old friend of mine whose Sheffield Wednesday football hero was Wolf Smith.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
obviously played in the '66 final. And I think we sold him to Coventry for about 100,000.
No, 150,000. It was
150,000.
record price for a
board
fullback.
lied again. Yeah.
He was a terrific player, Will Smith, but just a little bit physically slow. That was his trouble. He wasn't quick,
Yeah.
but he was better actually as a midfield player, as a midfield holding player.
He started out as a midfield player. Do you remember him as a midfielder, Dave?
Yeah, that's where he started at Wednesday. Yeah,
Yeah. Good young
midfield.
player.
He dropped back to fullback, didn't he?
He did. He did. Yeah.
He lived
Yeah.
up the road from me, Wilf.
All right. Yeah. Well, although the players
He's a
we
little
got
bit,
nowadays
he'll be
are
about
both physically
75
slow,
now.
mentally
He's just a little
slow.
bit
Yeah.
older than me.
He used to go to Pitworth Road School, Wilf.
Yeah.
Ooh, I scored my
Yeah, I
first
lived
goal
on
in
Manor
school
Park.
football against Pitworth Road. 2-1 in Richmond Park.
Yes, Will Smith.
It would turn out two good Wednesday fullbacks because Mel Sterling went there as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Right, shall we move on, Dave?
And Tony Parks. Does anybody know Tony Park? Remember Tony Park?
Brokey.
Blackburn Rovers.
No.
Blackburn Rovers, weren't he?
He was the right-hand man for many a manager at Blackburn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When are you going off again?
Pardon?
I might not be.
Carry on, Dave.
Horse racing. I'll just switch back to my order. The favourite, Hurricane Lane, son of Frankel, trained by Charlie Appleby and ridden by Buick, won the St. Leger by towing 3/4 lengths from Mojo Star on Saturday. The horse is now likely to run in next month's Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, where he will come up against his Derby-winning stablemate, Adiyar. The Queen's hopes of a classic win in 2022, a Platinum Jubilee year, were dented when odds-on favourite Reach for the Moon was beaten by a head by Bayside Boy in the Group 2 Champagne Stakes at Doncaster. A rematch may take place next month at Newmarket in the Dewhurst Stakes. Also at Doncaster, Stradivarius broke the record for the number of European group races won as he made it 17 with success in the Doncaster Cup. Cricket. Or lack of cricket for starters. After India's no-show at training last Thursday, it was still a surprise when the 5th test was called off just 2 hours before the start. While originally stating COVID as the reason and forfeiting the match, India later retracted their statement, claiming mental health issues were the reason.
Bloody hell.
That's all to do with insurance. That's insurance.
Yeah.
Apparently nobody could change their nappies.
Hey, don't joke, I'm wearing a nappy. Yeah.
Whatever the reason, the ECB are fighting to avoid potential losses of £40 million. And certainly if COVID has given us the reason, then they'll be struggling because the insurers just won't pay out.
That's only 10 million if they get that. 30 million is from broadcasting.
Does anybody know why the Indians did retract that statement?
Insurance.
Politics.
Well,
To
I
claim the
think
insurance.
there's 2 reasons. There's insurance, but there's also, if they forfeit the match, they lose points in the test status, the test standings.
Right.
Which means they may not get to the final. I mean, they lost it to New Zealand this year, but they may not get to the final.
But given that they came with a squad that was allowed to be bigger to cover COVID, and therefore pretty much every eventuality. the fact is that the cricketing boards ought to say, well, whatever points you think you've lost, we're just going to double it. You know,
the
because
only
it's
trouble
scandalous.
with that is, Brian, that 80% of the world cricket revenue comes from India.
Well, and that may be the case, but there comes a point when sooner or later somebody's going to have to dig their heels in and say no, because we've lost the ability to say no, and it takes me back to the week before with the Brazil-Argentinian game, when Argentina certainly deliberately flouted the rules to get these players in, probably thinking that no authority on this earth dare walk onto the pitch while the match is on and stop it. And you know, fair play to Brazilian authorities. They did what should have been done a long time ago, because these sporting people think they are above every rule of law lies in the world.
Dead right.
Dave, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I don't think any of the players had got COVID, had they?
No.
No.
It's all against their own protocols. There are no players with positive tests.
Yeah.
He could have got physios from anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They say the physio had it, and he'd been treating a lot of them.
That's
and
right.
They were worried. They were worried about carrying it to their families.
They were worried about not playing in IPL.
Yes, absolutely the end.
Yeah.
Correct.
More to say other than that.
I thought it was very interesting that a lot of them had got aircraft tickets to return to India during what would have been the test match. So that was tremendous foresight on somebody's part to just happen to have got the transport sorted back to Mumbai. It's very clever the way they did that.
I don't much like Kohli as an individual, but I thought he had a great cricketing side who played extremely well through the series. How you lose the support of people in one simple move, just don't turn up for the final test match, which you most likely would have won. I think they played as cricketers, which is what they're being paid to do. They played brilliantly, and in a couple of games outside England, I thought it was, until that point, a very interesting series. But these politics and shenanigans, they'll ruin the game. Back to the 100, I think, Chris.
The 100 is not all respect. There's a massive problem with the 100. It forced the test series to be later.
Yeah. And
because it was later, the Indians, when they were negotiating, said the final test is far too near the start of the IPL, and we don't want that. And unfortunately, they had to have it because there was no place else for the schedule.
Yeah.
That's because we introduced the fourth format, the 100, into an already overscheduled summer. And I did remark that the reserves of the ECB had been spent.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are no reserves. So the minute we now hit this emergency, it is a massive problem for the game of cricket because there are no reserves.
Was the 100 a financial success? Do you know, Chris?
Depends who you speak to and what figures you believe. I don't think whatever figures you read, and I'm a guy who wants it to succeed. Whatever figures you do read, it wasn't worth 100 and something million gamble.
Yeah,
it wasn't worth the gamble. And now a problem has come to us as a country, as a governing body, and we haven't got the resources.
Well, I think we've been caught with our trousers down. COVID has just acted as a catalyst to actually get a scheduling problem that actually shows up the conflicts between the different types and the different countries, the different competitions of the game of cricket. And we've been exposed.
Yeah. The last thing that we needed, no one was asking for it, was another format to be squeezed in the same summer.
Yeah.
That's the issue has been the ECB's making, and then COVID has just come in and complicated the hell out of things. But I sincerely hope they are successful with their insurance arguments, because if they're not, the shortfall could be devastating.
So when are you and Jonathan and Keith going to get a grip of our game of cricket and sort these lot out?
Well, I think it's a bit
went to the wrong school, Ian.
It's a bit beyond my limited capacities.
Well, the fundamental problem with cricket is trying to pursue what is economically expedient in the belief that it is in the best interest of the game, and the two things don't automatically coincide.
No.
Whose best interest? That's the point, Jonathan. I think.
Well, yes, exactly. Yeah.
Bodies who think they know the best interest of the game, and they don't necessarily do. But all I'm saying, what a great shame for all the scheduling problems and burning out people like Stokes and all the rest of it. The downside, the series that almost was of England-India was a cracking series.
Yes.
And they've ruined it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it
we're
shows that we're
unanimous
not.
in that view. Go on, Keith.
Shows we're not that good at red ball cricket anymore.
Well, we've got another half hour for Chris to expound on that, I suppose.
All I will say, Ian, is if you look at the county cricket scores in this last round of games, the attempts of batsmen in the first innings are pretty damn awful.
Yeah.
Some of the scores are horrendous.
Yeah.
And some of that, obviously there's a good bowler involved, but some of that is it's a different game. Red ball is a different game, requires different techniques, requires foot movement. And the players are completely out of practice against the Duke's cricket ball.
Yeah.
Well, I think you and
So if you look at the scores, it's countrywide, not just one team.
yeah,
No.
There are some
Very significant,
extremely
yeah,
low
yeah.
scores.
yeah. I think
And
the
that's
red
the
ball
reason.
game, starting at the county level. I mean, who watches county cricket on TV these days? You know, it's
Me.
Millions when it was on millions.
it's just not pushed as much as it was. The international games, red ball, as you say, were shown to be short of quality and depth because they're all
Yeah.
playing the white ball game.
Hmm.
It pays your money, it takes your choice, and I'm afraid it looks like we're in that.
But from the players' point of view, it's the white ball game that gives them their income.
Yeah.
So you can,
And the clubs as well.
and the clubs as well, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well,
we've got
to the-
You can't play white ball if you can't play red ball. Do
Got-
assure you.
4 minutes, 18 seconds and counting. Dave the Beard, are you ready for another topic?
Come on, Dave, get a move on.
Yeah. I'll get a bit more in. They're saying that this will probably more controversy on Friday, of course, because they're reporting to Azim Rafiq's allegations of institutional racism against Yorkshire was released. And that will be ongoing for some while by the sound of things.
Well, when I was at Yorkshire, in Brian Close's era, there were no West Indian, no Pakistanis up there at all practicing or being invited to practice at the nets up there. And to be fair, Bradford was full of them.
Yeah.
And these and so on. But there were none up there. And I don't know why, but there wasn't one. Yeah, all the leagues had got them in and they were all scoring runs and getting wickets. But not up there, Yorkshire. I don't know
And
why.
Keith, they met the criteria at the time. They were born in Yorkshire, many of them.
Yeah.
That's right. They were, yes, you're right. Yes.
I stayed behind after a Benson and Hedges match with one of my guests who was a keen cricketer from Leeds and one of the Yorkshire committee who was well oiled when he was driving up to Middlesbrough after he left there, and no question at all how racist he was. You know, the way he referred to black and brown players. Oh, terrible. And he was a committee man.
Can't help
Well,
thinking that Yorkshire were very cynical in the timing of their release as well.
Yeah.
The way they, a good day to very bad news.
Yeah.
The day the test was cancelled.
That's what you call politics, Paul.
Yes, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
Are you feeling all right anyway, Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Yeah.
You look a bit shaken.
I feel a bit shaken, to be honest.
What was the other driver's name? Verstappen.
He got out and said, I'm ever so sorry, I just finished my drink and I thought you'd set off. We were sat in a line of traffic. I was the fourth in the line of traffic and he just whacked me straight from the back.
Oh, yeah.
He thought I'd set off. We were all sat at red lights.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Cup of hot tea, sweet tea.
I think that's what he got, yeah.
On a silver tray.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
Dave,
good Range Rover.
Have you got a quick one, Dave? We've got 1 minute 20.
Right, boxing descended into farce as well on Saturday with a 58-year-old Evander Holyfield was stopped in the first round by a 44-year-old Vitor Belfort. the California State Athletic Commission had refused to sanction the fight, so the entire card was moved to Florida. And also on that bill was 40-year-old David Hay, who won on points. And he revealed that he now wants that fight against Tyson Fury that he missed twice.
And the
I'll leave it
commentator
there.
on the Holyfield fight was Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Right, guys, we've got less than a minute, and you've got a UT chairman today, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. So we'll for one.
Yeah, but Keith wouldn't use the word yin and yang. Yeah.
Well, did I? Anyway,
Yeah.
Let's call it for close out. I'll open up at 11:15, so you should get in by 1:30 by the time I got sorted out.
I'll see you next week.
See you, Jonathan.
Great to see you.
Bye bye.
See you shortly.
Cheers, Jonathan.
5 minutes.
Okay.